If you just don't.
It's unnerving when crypto is swerving. Your portfolio is veering down a deep black hole. But if you watch Road Dogg and you listen closely, he will help you gain control. Well, if you think this channel is groovy and you'd like to show your support, well, there are a few things that you can do. Find that like button, give it just a playful little smack, and subscribe and join the channel. And
gotta cross the board. No, it's more than survival, baby, it's hardcore. Cockroaches, hard to kill, hard to ignore. The shadows I explore, tell me more, tell me more. Cockroach love, it's a dirty affair. Legs intertwined, discuss it with fear. Cockroach creeping up my belly to my throat. Here's what I miss about me, add one more. Jeez, look at that cockroach. Jeez, look at that cockroach. Slipping through my fingers and my toes. I'm a baseball coach when they surround me like the lows. That I bought, teaching the stride, making them a 6 to see night and dry. But he's afraid and a fool. I saw a bird with a 3-inch tube. Cockroach love, it's a dirty affair. Legs intertwined, discuss it with fear. Cockroach creeping up my belly to my throat. Here's what I miss, how about we add one more? Jeez, look at that creeping back to you. Rendezvous, so filthy, so cool.
Someone to save. I wanna tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night, and I contemplate for a while.
Check 1 2 1 2.
I wish you all the best I can, but I stop myself for a while.
Check 1 2. Gotta have that cowbell.
For those of you out there that hit that like button, I sure so thank you very much.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Late Night Crypto with Road Dogg. My name is Lane. We're taking a look at Bitcoin. Not much else to do. Bitcoin just taking a nice big drop over this weekend. A little bit of a lackluster weekend, I might say. And then our altcoins are, well, Bitcoin ain't happy, ain't nobody happy is what the saying goes for. And here we are, total 3. On that nice downward trend that we just been dreaded, but talked about because we were up here at a resistance area at some resistance levels with some bearish looking moving averages here on the bigger time frame. And sure enough, they tend to play out when you start seeing them. So if you don't start taking profits when you're at these areas of resistance, even though those bags just like, I don't want to take profit right now, it can go up. And then it can also still come down. It does look kind of cool right now, about $535 billion, about another $10 billion down. We might find some support. We could. I mean, it doesn't have to be firm support. We went through it before. But I still see some strong momentum here for the daily on total 3 for our altcoins. So that's some hope. Really, we need to look at the monthly candle closes and the weekly candle closes and all that kind of stuff to get a good feel, because that's really what's been guiding price action. And the warning signs that we saw in these bigger time frames and chose to maybe not take it seriously. Oh, that's far off. Oh, I don't see it playing out right now. Yeah, now they kind of catch up with us and like, dang, probably should have listened to that, right? That's a hard lesson to get through my head. I mean, even knowing that doesn't mean that you're going to execute on it, which I could have done a lot better executing on some of these signs. One of the biggest ones that I'm not crazy about, it's not yet confirmed, but it's the warning signs. The same thing that we saw in the daily and the weekly, especially on those weekly time frames, the 1 week and the 2 week, when they started doing this. That was the sign that, hey man, we maybe headed south here. Now at that time, the monthly just looked like it was off, and oh wow, nothing to worry about here. Well, now the monthly started to look a little timid, a little sick, right? So we got to keep that in perspective here. I like to come over to the 2 week and look at that also. The same indicator there, and you see that we've already flipped bearish several weeks ago. Shoot, several months ago was when she officially confirmed there. And so really it was wise when the 2 week and the 1 week were showing those areas are turning over and the histogram starts coming to the downside and get tired. That was the first signals that, hey man, you might start paying yourself. And you know, we mentioned that here on the channel and mentioned it to myself, preaching to myself more than anybody probably. And I did do better, but still, it's always in retrospect, you're like, I could have been better at that. I really could. I could have done something a little different. Maybe I could have just taken out some shorts there if you had the you gotta, when you first started to short at those big top areas, it sounds like the greatest place to short, right? But when you're doing it, man, it takes some patience, because it's like, I'm not so sure you're gonna play out. So it takes some practice on your execution for whatever trades and things that you do. Now on the weekly MACD, I mean, there's some signs that things may be slowing down. We've talked about this, the little divergence that we got going on just here in the MACD. It may slow us down, but it doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to reverse there. Got to keep that in mind. So what can we do? Look at the bullish and the bearish aspects, I guess, of this. Now we're on the weekly. It's a good time to, it's Sunday night. We can come over and do our weekly candle close. We got this bearish engulfing candle right here. Came down, slapped down, and now we start out fresh. This is not great. We're at resistance, and we got that. So take that, Bitcoin. Let me flip it back to my other candles that make a little bit more sense to me. It takes a lot of the noise that we look at here. Same thing, pretty much. Resistance. Now on this one, I am so tempted to pull that to candle bodies. I'm going to. I can't help it. I like to see them candle body touches. I like to see them rubbing all over each other. It sounds awful, but hey. All right, so we're the market's already printed a red dot. Now, bear in mind, it's not yet confirmed. It could disappear as easily as it showed up there, so don't get it twisted. But let's look at some other indicators here for what may be going on. Now, I got a 300 moving average, a 100 and 200, so they're kind of sandwiched in between, kind of weird. The 100, ideally, I'd like to see above the 200. Okay, we're just not there yet. That signifies that, well, we might actually come down and meet that price. Might lose some of that, might make a lower low. It says that could happen. Doesn't mean it has to, but we're kind of, it kind of gives us a range from where we are now to all the way down here. We can include that in our calculations, or we need to. Ichimoku Cloud also likes that idea of sending price down a little bit. Now she's got a little price level about 540 billion. This is for altcoins, and that's what we're concerned about. What are altcoins going to do? We're below a 21 moving average. We're also below a 9. I don't like being below the 9. If I could be above any moving average at any time, it would be above a 9 moving average, because it's just always optimistic. Being below it's a little bit pessimistic, and being below it and a 21 at the same time, well, that's just a headache. Our saving grace is this 50 moving average, which might give us a little support. You might get a little bounce, but she might always eventually break through too. I know it's crazy that we had the bullish sign over here, a buy signal, and then price went down on the weekly. It sucks to be you, Bitcoin. I'm just telling you what the charts are saying. That's what they said. There are signs saying that we could be coming down to this 200 moving average and testing it again. That's about another $50 billion coming out of altcoins, which would not be fun. It would not be groovy. And it could be some altcoins getting hit more than others. It could be a lot of things. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin here also. MACD out. And I'm going to zoom back out to the monthly. Monthly doing the same thing over here on the MACD, so got to be cautious. It's a little bit more bullish over here on Bitcoin than on altcoins, to the total 3 that we looked at. So, all right, now this is the 2 week. We just went on down, and we've had our cross here for, over a month when it officially crossed, and it was bearish before, just like on altcoins. The signs were there that we were going to probably, start looking a little bearish. This is officially bearish here. The MACD does this. It's done it a couple of times before, and it marked the cycle tops last time. Now, it doesn't make sense for it to be a cycle top right now, so that goes against our logic of the 4-year cycle. But that's what the charts are saying, that we could expect this trend could bring some pain, and it's been bringing some pain. Unless you've just been shorting everything and then making all that good money. But even the shorts have been kind of iffy. They've been stopping out lots of them. You'd have to, in my opinion, do low leverage, or I don't know, maybe get into scalping mode. Not what I'm trying to do, but right here on the weekly, we got that same little divergence happening there. And let's come down to a 3-day 3-day, this is where we're getting interesting right now. This is showing all the sideways chop we got. She's also inclining to take another dip to the downside, if you can see that little rollover going on right here on the 3-day. Now that's a pretty strong signal right there, that little blue line coming to the downside. So I would expect this to be a kind of a challenging week. More than likely more sideways action out of altcoins, but a down and sideways kind of thing. We do have a little bit of a trend line going on. Haven't broken that. We can see how she kind of reacts through here. We got a few little ideas to kind of look at and measure there, just to help us gauge what she might be doing. And there's a lot that says a lot of chop, more chop coming, more chop coming. And like she hasn't been choppy enough, she wants to get choppy a little bit more. Now we do our Fibonacci, and we've been looking at 55,000 for a while. Some other people are starting to get on the boat with that, with whatever's their confluence levels are telling them. So, but the Fibonacci is the first place that gives us that. And an honorable mention comes in at 52,700-ish. So we want to keep that in mind as well. These are things that can happen. Doesn't mean necessarily that they will happen, but they can. And if you're not prepared for that, it could catch you off guard. And therefore, that's why we want to talk about these things here on the channel before they happen. And we're pretty good about mentioning these things weeks before they do. It's just that they just don't seem very convincing at the time that we mention them. And even myself, I'll go, probably not. It's probably all right. We'll walk it off. And that's just something that I notice. It bites me in the ass a lot when you ignore those bigger time frames. If you get stuck too much on the smaller time frames, a lot of people like to trade to 1 minute. It seems to be kind of popular here on YouTube. Attains attention. But you can see people get caught up in that, and they can't remember what's really happening on the bigger time frames. And then it slaps them on the behind. Now, you can play that. There's some strategies to play it. I would recommend that you look to the likes of Frankie Candles or Jason Casper if you're trying to, because it's a range strategy that they do. I would look toward that rather than trying to 1 minute out with flags. Just my take on that. All right, so not the greatest market going on right now. Bitcoin on the 4 hour below the 200, not so great. We had that golden cross over here, the 50 crossing the 200, and now she's flirting with the idea of probably doing a bearish cross here. And I'm like, why not? Go ahead and do it. Why not? Just rip the band-aid off, Bitcoin. Come on. Now, on the smaller time frames, when we connect all the dots, we get a little bit of a triangle kind of shape here, or maybe even a wedge shape. You could make that argument just for this localized move there. Now we connect all the dots and everything, and they have a little bit of a slant, and you might look at that as a falling wedge, and these two have a pretty good chance of breaking to the upside. But they break to the downside, they move kind of fast, hard, and heavy, and you might get that big old move down to 52. It might be a fast, hard, ugly one, especially if we tie on this 50 crossing, the 100 and or the 200 there. Could add a little fuel to that fire, so I'd be cautious about that. No doubt getting sleepy. Now we had some measure moves. I believe this one was taken from, was it over there somewhere? We got this one here. And that's suggesting about 56,300, 56,500-ish, that area. No matter how you slice it, how you dice it, it looks like we could have a little bit more sideways chop and down. If there is a bounce up, and it could happen here, you could get a breakout on this falling wedge kind of pattern, this trend line, but I would be looking for it to come back up for a bearish retest. Either about 61.3, or maybe we get lucky and they get us all bullish up again this week, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, get us back up to 63. That could happen. Especially if we don't go very much lower, because we still have a higher low than what we had here. They could do something like that. They might even get us up to a new higher high. We don't know yet, for real. But I would say chances are that if we were to come back up, we'll probably get much higher than about 63.5 before we roll over. Seems to be kind of what they like to do. Get us all bullish, then just take us all back down. And this is what we call chop, and this is when they can take all your Bitcoin from you very well in this chop. any gains that you make on these moves up or shorting and make them on the moves down, when we start doing the sideways stuff and they start hunting stop losses and playing around with ranges and stuff, that's them accumulating. And I think they want their bags full by late October as well as everybody else. And that's just my take on the market there. We have flipped all these moving averages bearish, so you got that to contend with. No matter how you look at it, that's on the daily time frame. So I would expect some drops, some shakiness in the market. I wouldn't be expecting the price just to go straight up because we're not finding those signs. Now we got to wait until everything starts to reset on these bigger time frames. Stochastics get down to the bottoms. Moving averages are getting lined up, or maybe they can bounce off of you know, certain areas. Look at support and resistance areas, and this is when we start bringing 50 back into the picture. Not sure if we're going to do it, but we got to look for it. So I'm just full of warnings and boringness, and you know, if you're trying to look for shorts, there will be some coming. I'm not so sure that right now is the time to take them. Since everything is down at its bottoms right now, shorting at the bottoms is like longing at the top. It's not the smartest play, for real. Your risk reward ratio is not there for you. Meaning you can go against you and get caught up really easy trying to short the very bottoms. So any kind of retest, and what that simply means is just breaking a trend line and coming back up to retest it. That could be, and just as easy, you know, if we bounce back up here, oh, this could be an area to open up any kind of shorts. If you're trying to short, but I see the habit to be trying to short here now, and I mean, if you are making a lower low than what we got over here, we're in bounce territory. How far are you expected to go? I mean, if we're making a higher low, if we make a lower low, well, maybe you got it, but keep in mind that when you get falling channels, falling wedges, and those ideas, they usually do have a little bit of a bounce to the upside. So hard to call right now, what you say? So look at the half your huevos. And then we come down here to the smaller time frame, and look, they're respecting the trend lines right now. That's why it gets so confusing. I would wait till you get to the tops of trend lines. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. How's it going, guys? On a Sunday night, the market be all kind of sad. Portfolios be going kind of down. Hey, we got Mr. Miles here first again. How you doing that, Mr. Miles? That's awesome. We got AD and Archbit. Archbit says, I kind of want my spot orders at low 50 or high 40K to fill first. It could happen. I mean, it could. We got to at least plan for it. Plan for that possibility. And as long as your plan can, you know, not put you in too much jeopardy, then you might have something going on. Casper's getting prepared to go against the market again. I'm expecting KRC20 to be less than a week away. Let's take a look at Casper. We haven't done that yet. I don't really have too many altcoins to look at tonight. Some of the ones that have been kind of strong, but we're seeing lots of weakness in the altcoins right now. Casper just lost her 360 on the 8-hour. Let's get to a different time frame here. Let's go start on the daily. Ichimoku Cloud. She's thin. I'm getting close to it. I don't like us getting close to it. It'll suck us right in there. Definitely have a lot of buy and sell pressure in there. It's definitely in. She's in her range for sure. That's a 3-day. This is the 1 hour. It looks like we're losing our areas here. I mean, and that could be a oh wow. I personally don't want to see her go down to 11 or 12 cents, or at least not in my present. I'd have to start adjusting my strategy to plan for that. But she's starting to lose some areas here. Coming to the 4 hour, we just lost Lucy. We've been above Lucy, but now we're starting to lose her with candles closing below her. So that's different from us bouncing off and wicking below. She's losing the level here. So it does look like 15 and a half. I would be looking at the 618. We can double check that. It's yellow. It should be a 618. Swing low to swing high. Yeah, she is. So this little guy about 14.4 would be a good area to kind of help for price to catch. And it looks like she may be wanting to just slowly trickle her way down there. Or maybe they'll do it fast, just rip the band-aid off. I don't know. But our moving averages are suggesting that they're starting to lose some ground here. We come to the daily. What you got? 200 moving average down that area. That's a little higher, and that's coming in at 15. Sam says, "Move your butt, Lucy." Is she up there? See, she's always causing trouble, man. Every time, can't even bring her on here without her just trying to undermine me. Dang it, Lucy. That's the devil's backside right there. In case you wondered what it looked like. Taco dog time. Man, I've been trying to find a taco face and I can't find one. AD says keep your powder dry and your keg full. Hey, we got Celinda. How's it going, Celinda? Casper cares not for bear signals, says Mr. Miles. But take a look at Ave. She was doing so good, wicked up to 149, almost 150, right? Now she's down at 121. I know, I was so paying myself up there, and she dropped 20%. This has been one that's worked out pretty good for me in my spot margin plays, playing this angled range here. Simple idea, really. You try to buy low and you try to sell high, really. That's really all it is. I'd like to utilize the Fibonacci's to help me figure that stuff out. And I probably need to see what you're doing right now, Ave. What you got planned? Road dog getting sleepy. Oh, you holding that 786. I don't think you'll continue to hold that just because it's not the norm and all the altcoins are taking a hit. So 104 looks like a nice area to try to shoot for. There may be a short to be had. And for spot margin, I would borrow Aave tokens, and then honestly, I would pyramid some limit orders, borrow the tokens and limit in case she comes up and spikes. That way I get my sales, get my dry powder, and then I limit in down through here. And that's how I play this rangy game that we're in right now. It's no spot margin. Otherwise, I just sit there and ride the roller coaster. At least this way, I've got some movement and I've got some action going on, and we kind of corkscrew down if we need to, or corkscrew up if we need to. If that makes any sense to you, we're kind of buying and rolling over within the ranges. The strategy that I'm attempting to, finagle is just a slow market. And gosh darn it, sometimes it just slows you to sleep. 103.92 could come back into the picture. We got a trend line that she should hold. Points toward 103 really nicely. 103, 104, 105, somewhere in that area could be a nice little area to accumulate this again. Or possibly even short it down to, what would that look like? You know, I think if I were a scalper and I were trying to scalp on my 1 minute or something, I would just not even fool with this thing. Because the people I see using it go through all this time to set up this big trade with a stop loss and a take profit, and then they jump in and jump out of the trade real quick. And I'm like, well, you just wasted all that time. Why are you even doing that? I mean, the risk reward ratio didn't mean anything to you because you didn't plan it, you didn't trade on it, and you just go to jump out early anyway. Why go through that? These questions I ask myself sometimes when I see other people do it. My answer is that they don't really understand how this. They're still missing a few little key concepts. Is what I'm taking away if I had to suggest something. But there might be a nice little move down there, depending on where you put your stop losses. Now I'm on the daily time frame. I'd go right behind that daily candle, because if we start going up and making a higher high on that daily candle, well, this trade zone is probably gone. That'd be 4%. And that would give us a nice, what is this, a 5? Oh, that's all the way down here, though. We're just looking for this little short, this little guy here, about 103. What was that, 3 to 1? That's doable. That's acceptable. The 3 to 1 is acceptable. To take you down from 121 all the way down to about 104, 105. Still be making about a nice little 13% there. So that's 14 over here. I just like to double check sometimes. Ave looks interesting. Pendle, I think she's coming down too. Oh, look at you on the daily. Got the 100 across the 200. Now be careful. Sometimes it can make the price spike up there. Sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes. Any signs on the smaller time frame saying that it can't happen? Well, there's a 200 moving average here that's holding. And a trend line that might be holding. She could be bouncing here. So, to short Pendle here would be like buying the tops, be shorting support, which is not, in my opinion, not the best move. It's a great place to buy, though. But to try to short here, man, I mean, because your stop loss, I mean, basically, look at it. You would have to put it way up here. That's 22%. If you put it over here, that's still, I mean, why? To short it down here, and she may not even do it. However, for a long, I like it for a long. There's some signs saying there might be a nice little, I would take it as this, I wouldn't go way long on it. I think you'd be looking at the range on it. Because I like this, I like buying the bottom of the trend lines, and then you can put a nice tight stop loss. Then put it at, I don't know, 3, 4, 5%, somewhere below this trend line, because start closing candles below there. This trade's over with, and not going to happen, but the risk reward ratio is pretty nice. And if you pull a fib from swing high to swing low on the 4-hour time frame here, target that 618 just as a standard go-to. Oh no, you moved the whole thing. It's this little one. That would be a 4 to 1 risk to reward ratio. If you went to the 50% mark at 322, that's a 3.28 risk to reward ratio. They all look good. All of them look good. This looks like a nice little setup for Pendle. Baby, I want to set me some sell targets. I'm already in Pendle. I may want to add to the bag here since we're at the trend line. I like that idea. So I see a possibility of Pendle slowly over time. She's got to get above 306 first. She's at 294, so I gotta see that happen. But I'd say that she might be a chance to hit 331 or 324. Those areas, I go for 331 myself. What are some other signs that this might be something worth looking at? Well, the stochastics are buried below, or the RSI is buried below 30. You want to wait till it starts flipping, but with that 200 moving average there, she's got a chance to do it, I think. Watching the smaller time frames, and on the 1 hour, we've got her flirting around with the 800. Lucy's right underneath her, getting ready to cross bullishly. I would look at that idea. If you were to get in here, I mean, I would expect a lot of chop, and it may not be a fun trade to be in. It may take a long time to get up there to those areas. But I just see this as, I'm just going by the levels, price levels, and it looks good to me. At least to watch it. Now she rolls over here and can't make it past that. That might be scary. That's a great place to take profit at 306 because that could drive her lower. That's a kind of a support resistance area right there. Take a look at mobile for me. I'm trying to decide if I should dump it as soon as I get it. Helium Mobile. Well, based on this chart, it looks like everybody's dumping it as soon as they get it. Well, my opinion. I can't even read that. Let's go to daily. Honestly, as low as it is right now, I think I would just hang on to whatever you can get. Because you know she can get interest behind her and some kind of news will come out at some point. And if I was, with the miner, I would just hang on to it. Let's see, this was July 24th. This was April. So all this is this year. So at several different times, it's been up to 0.006, 0067 area right here. So selling it immediately, you get what it is, but hanging on to it a little bit, you could do 3, 4, 5, 6x on it. So I think I would, I would just accumulate, honestly. Because I think you'd look back and darn it, man, I had a lot, because it's telling me that anywhere under 0.0023 would be where you want to accumulate it. And it's got to get above that area. She may range in here for a while, I don't know, but once she gets above that area, she gets past her last low that she had over here, flips it, and then we can start heading to 0.004, 0.005. I would say that 0.0022, 0.0023 would be a good target just to pay yourself a little bit. And if you're insistent on finding a target to sell, I think this one's a good one to go for. 0.0015. Which from where we are now would be about 50% increase. She looks like she wants to come all the way back down here right now though. So 0015, 0018, 0023. And let's just imagine she comes all the way back down here to 0.00097. It's below whatever, 0.1 or whatever, 0.001. I get tired of saying 00s. That could be up to 150% gain just coming back up to this area that she was at back in July before the market went sour. Mr. Riley says, what's the difference between scalps and swing trades? Mostly your time frame. I mean, your strategy, you can use the same strategy for either one. And, you know, scalps, you're usually in and out. And you're trying to do it usually on a smaller time frame. So usually you'll take maybe a 15-minute to try to figure out what things are going to do for you. If you're going to be trading for a few hours, you'd want to kind of check out the 15-minute and get your strategy kind of set up here. Which on this one, it's not really doing very much. So for me, I'd be looking for a channel idea, and then I would kind of plot out my trades if I were scalping. Looking for a possibility to maybe come up. We're flirting with getting above that, so I would set my, I would be looking at this and maybe trying to get in, maybe getting down here, or bounce off of here, whatever triggers you to enter. And then I would come down to a smaller time frame, like maybe a 1 minute, and then I would snipe my entry and try to get in at just the right place. Like I might get it here. So that's the best way. And so scalp trades, you're usually, they usually don't last. They last anywhere from, a few seconds, a few minutes, maybe a few hours. It's usually a day trader play, and you're usually in and out within a day anyway, right? So it falls in the day trader category. Swing trades can go from anywhere from a few days to, a few months. Normally, you're looking somewhere, a few weeks, maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe up to 4 weeks. And when you start getting beyond that, then you're probably position trading in. or doing a longer term strategy, a long-term hold, something like that. So I did have, I posted something over in the Telegram group talking about that. Oh, they're telling me I'm not getting enough information coming in for my live feed. Let's see. It's been a minute since I put it on over there, but I did post it. I think I put it over in the student chart area too. I probably have that. There's one I stole from Crypto Banner. I also put a trade. Yeah, here's one that I put up, and it talks about the best time frame. So if you're like a swing trader, the best time frames to work with are the weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour. Mostly the ones that I work with on here. I'm always looking at the weekly and the daily, and you know, those bigger time frames. So your investors go by monthly, weekly, and daily mostly, and your day traders are going by, you know, 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute, all the way down to 1 minute, 1 second, or whatever. And then this was what I stole from Sheldon on Crypto Banner because it was cool, and it kind of breaks it down. You know, your 1 hour chart gives you enough data for about the next 12 to 24 hours. That's the way you can look at it. 4 hour chart gives you enough data for the next 3 to 5 days. Daily chart gives you enough for the next basically 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, basically 20 to 30 days. So those kind of ideas. Strega has a heated blanket that vibrates. Nice. Hey, there's Grammar. Want to look at Xcur? Let's take a look at that. That's Curate. Oh, she's had. Oh, I'm on the 1 minute chart there. No wonder it looks crazy. How's this one doing? Still hanging around there? She's still hanging in there. That's noisy, really noisy. That's about as close to a good idea as I can give it. Yeah, we'll channel that we're in. Possibly at the bottom, possibly at the bottom. I really need to see her bounce from here. So, she went down to the 886 here and bounced off of it, or that area. She's a little bit below where she needs to be, so I would look to see if she can bounce off of here. There's a chance with that channel idea that she can, and then start coming back up in these areas, 0.0067, 0.0065. Those are some good targets to take to pay yourself a little bit. Have you done IDEX before? Have I used the exchange? Is that what you're asking? No, if you're asking about the token, I haven't done either one of them. I haven't used it and I haven't ever done the token either, but we can at least look at the token. Even averages are all squeezed up here. What are you guys doing? What kind of order are you in? It's a mix. So this will probably be a definite hard area to get past, is anywhere from 5.5 cents to 5.7 cents. Don't see us getting past there anytime too soon. She just had a first try at it, so there's a good chance she'll come back down here to this little area. Let's see if we got any fib correlation there. Now right now it looks like she's bouncing off the 100. I'm on the daily too, and she's above the 9. So right now she looks pretty good. Let's see if we can get a trend line established. It looks like she broke one. If we're following this one, then she could be coming up to bear. She retested, so we want to check on that. Let's look at the 4 hour. We got Lucy in the 800 moving average. Now they're upside down. They're not in the right order. She's broke through it before. She can do it again, but still we got this trend line. That's what's going to give us a headache now. This good. These things together here suggest that it will probably roll over here. Just throwing that out there. I would say that if we pull our fibs, we're probably bouncing off of a 618 area, probably. No, not quite a 0.5 area. If she can break past that trend line, that would be helpful, but I'm just seeing signs that she could just roll over. And if she does want to come down, we'll check that one more time. I'd still go for that. It may take it a minute, but I think she'll come back to this area and test it. 0.0039, 0.004 area. Still waiting for lower levels. Might never go that low. It's true. There might be some areas that don't get it, but the way the bigger time frames are showing the weeklies and things, we're leaning a little bit more that way than not. So. Trigger says, Massacre. Hadn't got alerts for Floki Safe Moon in a while. I actually got out of that one. And I haven't looked at it in a minute. When I was consolidating my BNB and stuff, I actually got out of it. And I was like, well, she's up and I'm still in profit on it. And where are you? I can't find Dex tools. I would like to see what it's doing right now. It was FSM because that was actually, I mean, I didn't make a killing on it, but you know, it did good on making some BNB for me. Floki Safe Moon. And oh wow, she's been around for a year now. Because they came over, Loki Toshi came over here, I think, right after they launched it, or not long after they launched it. Oh, she's down, baby. She's down. Good thing that I guess it's a good thing that I got out of that one, huh? What I did when she was still up through here. So she's coming back down to some interesting areas. I would wait to see some actual movement before I would totally go crazy DJing on it. Where's my lines, man? She broke a major trend line there. I would want to see it get past that, actually. There's no telling, you know, what can go on, but once she gets past that, it should probably be a stronger move. So, waiting for that confirmation would be good for Floki Safe, man. Dead coin rep holding at 74 cents. Oh man, that coin. Was it Kraken's the one that's got it, right? Oh, it's 6. Oh, I got. Oh, it's against the European. The Euro. Yeah, 74. Oh, she got a pump on the 4 hour. It looks like a cool project, man, but that place is dead, totally dead, casino-like thing, like a sports betting kind of thing. Looks like they built it, but there ain't nobody using it. So, it's just a worthless coin now. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to go ahead and call it a stream tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. It's going to be Labor Day, so happy Labor Day if you're in the U.S. celebrating that. Otherwise, we got to wait for the stock market to open on Tuesday for New York Open and see what they decide to do. Tuesday and Wednesday will be our probably 2 wishy-washy days, and see what they set us up for on this next coming weekend, where they like to park us on a Friday. It's just, it's not going to be very eventful. September is usually a bad month. Most of you guys probably have seen that a lot. The election year, we got that going for us. We got some good things going for us. The post-halving, so they will try to scare you out of Bitcoin. Believe it to be true. That halving effect will be felt within about 6 months from that halving. From 6 months from April, we're going to feel it because they're going to be out there trying to buy more. All these big companies, ETFs, all this stuff, and it's not going to be out there, and the price will go up. And in between then is the perfect time to squeeze you out of any Bitcoin that you own to make you capitulate it, or get risky with it and do something stupid with it. I advise you to hang on to your Bitcoin. Now your altcoins, they're gonna, it ain't altcoin season yet, baby. Bitcoin is still the winner here. So going a little bit more Bitcoin heavy, especially if she comes down, you can get some good deals on it. that is a smarter play in my personal opinion. Not financial advice. You don't want to take advice from any clown on the internet or any guy that looks like a sexy wrestler. But if I don't get out of here soon, I just know something weird's going to happen. I'm probably going to turn into like a turkey or something like that. That's been known to happen. Gosh darn it. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Come on, come here, bud.
The sexiest turkey on the interwebs.
You freaky dog. I don't need to analyze. Every word that comes out is a lie. Make it look like it's so ice. You won't make it to the finish line. Now if you gotta know the truth was gonna let you go. You was fine, never mind, unpredictable. Feet high off the ground, you ain't no one. You a star, blow it up like supernova. In the nighttime, hit my heart.
I don't always like videos, but when I do, I always feel unnerving. When Trader was swerving, your portfolio is veering down a deep black.
Strikes.
Come here, bud.
What is going to save?
Come on.